question is, are like tier 2 college students, particularly freshers, are they preferred for the roles of treasury and trading into international banks or corporates like Reliance?
Actually, I would have to ask that question to you as to how many international banks come directly to your campus. Look, typically the ones that I've seen coming to lesser known colleges, I won't call them tier 2 colleges. You normally have the KPOs of the international banks or international investment banks that come down to those campuses. I've rarely seen top-notch investment bank houses come to anybody besides the top few institutions. Now, look, it's tough, but you can try a few things to correct that. One is maybe you could reach out directly, and I don't know if it will work or not. I think it's a very long shot, but it's worth it. Second, I would suggest what I suggested earlier, which is there are different roads to going to Rome. If you can't go in the straight round, you can always go later. And who knows, you might, while trying to go to an investment bank, you might find some other path which you think leads you there, but instead like the path for itself and end up doing that. Look, most of us at your stage in life are guided by what worked in the recent past or in the last few years, right? So when Jaishankar and I were passing out, foreign banks were a great place to be in because they paid a lot of money and they seem to offer a nice flashy lifestyle and all of that. Maybe that's not true anymore now. I mean, maybe that's not the best place to be in going forward. As I mentioned, there were guys in my campus, in my batch, who were placed day 4 or day 5 in Wipro, for instance, who hit pay dirt when the .com bubble came and Y2K, that exercise happened. So it's very difficult to predict what the next big wave will be. We normally are guided by a rearview mirror of what the past has been. If I had to hazard a guess, as I said, maybe global banking and foreign banks might not be the best place to be in. As I mentioned, technology is catching up fast there. A lot of jobs are being automated. The regulations which have come on foreign banks right now are extremely onerous after the 2008 crisis. So a lot of the Wild West cowboy days that we had 15 years ago are simply unthinkable right now, which means it's been de-glamorized to a large extent. That doesn't make it less desirable, but it's just that it's becoming a static, plateaued kind of industry. As I mentioned to you earlier, asset management companies, wealth management, other kind of fintechs, corporate treasuries, even brokerages in specific areas where brokerages make sense, could be the next wave. So if you can't join the so-called top-notch jobs right now, it might be a blessing in disguise because you end up in one of these places, which, by the way, become the future 5 years later.
Yeah. Let me also just add to what Ananth is saying. Yeah, is there a caste system? Unfortunately, there is, right? But that is only restricted at the campus time. You're looking at another 30-35 years of your career ahead of you, right? So if you're still obsessed with the fact that, okay, I want to do markets, right? And let's say some of these guys, these roles don't come to Bangalore, I don't think you should get too worried about it. As Ananth said, you can always get into, let's say, wealth management firms. You're still connected to markets, but where that rigidity is not there, and then you leverage yourself after a year or two into any of these big banks. I mean, the Deutsche Bank, I knew we had somebody from Mata Securities, right? So yep. It's a question of just biding away that 1 or 2 years where you still get your experience and you can get to wherever you want to. So I don't want you to get too despondent about the fact that these guys won't come to me to campus right now. But at the campus level, yes, those restrictions are there. But once you get out, I don't think there would be.
No, that's very well put. And by the way, this person that Jaishankar just mentioned, who I think he was from Osmania University and some nondescript MBA from some nondescript college.
Yes.
I'm sure he did pretty badly in academics, and joined a brokerage firm and was selling government bonds as a broker. He's now sitting in Singapore and is
Correct.
arguably the second most powerful guy in global markets for the region. Okay,
Yes.
has done extremely well for himself, and very, very sharp trader, and very respected in the international community. So don't let that, as Jaishankar rightly said and very nicely described, don't let where you're coming from discourage you. Just take it as a reason for more fire in the belly for you to prove a point going forward.